As part of our Abstraction Redefined exhibition, we have two paintings by Chippewa artist George Morrison, and he was probably the best-known Native artist who was active in the Abstract Expressionism movement in New York City. He grew up at Lake Superior in Minnesota and then studied at the Art Student League in the mid-1940s, 1943, 46. And then soon after that became really part of the abstract expressionism movement. So as an artist, he actively shapes this movement, participated in many exhibitions at major museums like the Whitney Museum, and also associated with artists like Franz Klein and Willem de Kooning. But really, his strength as an abstract expressionist artist is his feeling for the physical quality of paint. So in the mid-1960s, he began the so-called white painting series. Both paintings we have here in front of us are part of this series. And they are really characterized by the painterly qualities, but also the rich texture of these paintings. For example, white painting number 1 has a really thick surface built up from layers upon layers of paint. And what both paintings have in common is really white, the color white as unifying factor that creates this really harmonious quality of these paintings. White painting number 1 here is very interesting because you can see at the center their shape stacked on top of each other, kind of resembling like totems. He, as a Chippewa artist, really didn't have to look far for inspiration. His artist friends, Franz Klein and Willem de Kooning, Mark Roscoe, and all of them at that time were very much interested in indigenous art and included symbols, petroglyph-like figures in their works, but never really asked for permission or consulted with the communities if they're allowed to use these symbols, and really didn't treat Native artists as peers. Whereas Morrison came in and it was very natural for him to use symbols and inspiration from his own culture. The next white painting here is called White Environ number 6. And when you look at both paintings, they have many elements in common. I mentioned the color white as unifying factor. Both paintings consist of different layers of different colors and then a thin layer of white on top. In this case, white painting number 1, you see how the white paint is really worked into the composition, whereas here it's really still visible as top layer and barely visible underneath. You see the other layers of different colors like blue, orange, green. And this painting, White Environ number 6, has a more graphic, more drawing-like quality to it. So what he did was he really incised grids, a grid pattern into the wet paint. By doing that, he gives this painting a really interesting structure. He liked to work with these grid patterns because to him it was a reference to nature's organizing principles. So both are really strong paintings, and I'm very drawn to them. I have seen several George Morrison paintings, and I'm very excited that MoCNA has those two paintings in the collection.